Good morning, good people. Good morning, Wadabevi. Light at the end of the tunnel vision. Good one. Clever. Looking at a picture here. Bonk. Of Wadabevi. I don't remember how long ago that was. But here we are today, right, October 1st, 2024, the beginning of a new month. Let's see, I got on here to look at the weather forecast for today. It's currently 66. It's going to get up to 102 today. As of 1 p.m., it's going to be 100 degrees. Going to get up to 102. I predict that by the end of the month, the temperature is going to be in the 70s at the high and much lower at the low. How low can you go? All right, so here we be. Yep. Today's meme, the theme of today is tunnel vision. Very bad. What? That's called focus. Is it focus or tunnel vision? Well, we'll find out. But here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students on their journey through this life. I had a very good dinner last night with someone who works in hospice. She described it as transition. And the question was, is that transition from living to non-living? Just a polite way to say they're dying? Or is it going from this existence to a different thing? In other words, consistent with having a transcendent soul. She said the latter. But you can always say transition to anybody because they will interpret it how they want. So if somebody is an atheist and this is it, la vida loca, baby, transition just means you're now dying. Good morning, Matticus von Atticus. Good morning. But for her and her experience, transition is going from this to the next thing. And another interesting observation from her is religion doesn't matter. What your spirituality is does not matter. The transition is the same. Atticus von Atticus is going to say, well, if you're an Aztec warrior, you just won the game. Okay, that's different. So that's cuckoo. But, or not. But tunnel vision or focus? Does Matt have tunnel vision when he's trying to get his permits, his things, or focus? Tunnel vision or focus? And that's a good segue to layer. Seth Godin, the paradox of brittle. Optimizing a device or system means squeezing every drop of productivity out of it. In the short run, optimization, i.e. tunnel vision, works as long as the world stays the same. Back to that later. Okay, but once again, here we are to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life, heading towards a destination, that we are not just atoms in the void, that we continue. And where we continue follows the trajectory of where we were going. So if you're living the la vida loca life, You're going to continue on a journey that has no ultimate meaning. Okay? It was in itself. If your life was about destruction and damage, breaking things down, you will continue on that towards that your destination will be more of that. So we're here to help our people do that. That's G School. We talk about that stuff on Saturday and Sunday. This is the blocking and tackling of life. This is the physical, mental, and emotional parts of that journey to help us get through that. So, and the good news is we have experts to help us. They're in the worksheet down below, people, and we've got a good one today. And of course, there is just the routine of watching the video, participating in the video every day. Repetition, 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 building better habits. Creating relationships with people you don't know and you don't actually interact with, like a tuft of flowers. The guy mowing and the guy turning the hay. Mowing the hay and turning the hay. They're actually working together, even though they don't know each other. So you don't need to participate in the podcast to create a sense of family with the people in the podcast. So that means Maticus von Atticus, people are depending upon you to show up every day. So this is my new morning drink. That is turmeric and some other stuff. And water. I know you're there, Matt. That's why I was talking to you. Are you going to be here tomorrow? Right. Will you say that tomorrow and the rest of the days, because people are counting on you. Okay, so we're 7 minutes in. Let's get into it. Advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from an 80-year-old. Never waste an opportunity to tell someone you love them. Okay, never waste an opportunity to do that. Good. That's number one. Darren Hardy is the one who's talking about tunnel vision today. Tunnel vision, bad. Tunnel vision, bad. Look outside the tunnel. Jordan Peterson has a good one on IQ today, how to get an idea of what your IQ is. Look at both of your parents. Take your parent, the IQ of your mother, the IQ of your father, average them together and decrease it a little bit. That's your IQ. So if your parents are dumb, if they're not well educated, not well read, they don't believe in the importance of education and learning, developing your brain, you're not really probably almost certainly not going to have a high IQ. Got to work hard to overcome it. You have physical and cultural things to overcome. Now, Lincoln did it. Abraham Lincoln did it, but it takes a lot of energy to do it on your own. Okay. Next. Let's see. Advice from an 80-year-old. Beep bop, where'd it go? Never waste an opportunity to tell someone you love them. Okay, we already talked about that. Seth's blog. We started talking about that. And the point is, we can optimize a device to work at capacity. However, something working at capacity blows up if you step on the gas when you need 5% more out of it. It's brittle. Right, it's brittle. Smart leaders build for resilience instead. Power plants, transit systems, careers, they're built to be suboptimal some of the time with slack built in so they can thrive all the time. And the paradox, if you're a competitive capital-driven market where little head starts can become bigger leads, can lead to lock-in and monopoly, the obvious strategy is to optimize early and often. Outperforming your more resilient competition is possible in the short run. And if you're lucky a few times in a row, you get access to more capital or more customers, and you can do it again at a bigger scale, leaving your thoughtful, Slack-enabled competitors in the dust until you crash. And you always will, because optimized systems cannot thrive in a changing world. Right. If you don't want to crash, don't compete in marketplaces where optimization is required. P.S. Britain shut down its last coal plant yesterday. 140 years ago, coal began its conquest of the world in Britain, and now it's over. Change is possible. Okay, so optimization is brittle, right? If you optimize, you've got everything exactly perfect. It's brittle because the second something changes, it's not good. All right, tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. Is that the light? That light at the end of the tunnel, is that daylight or is that an oncoming train? That's always the question. Always the question. So the point Darren Hardy's making about tunnel vision is sometimes you have to look outside from what you're doing. So let's apply that to churches and what my studying is right now. If you go into a typical non-denominational or church today, you're going to find a lot of old people, a lot of people with gray hair, and not a lot of people with not gray hair. And not only that, but the people kind of look the same. They're 80% the same and 20% different. That church is trying to optimize. It's catering to a certain demographic. But as that demographic goes away, now what? Now what? So you have to adapt. You have to not have so tunnel vision is this is how we've done it. This is how we do it. These are the people we're going after. We've got a highly defined demographic. This is what they're interested in. This is what we're going to deliver. And you can really hone that down, really get focused on the bullseye with that until it changes. And that has been the case in the United States in the last 50 years. It's becoming way more multicultural. So the churches have to become more multicultural. And in the Catholic Church, one of the problems they have is you have Hispanic and non-Hispanic, and they're not grading. So there's the Hispanic Mass, but most of the money comes from Hispanic people, right? And so the minority provides most of the money to run the thing. So they get a big say. These people are the ones who are the believers. How do you have a functioning church in the future when that's happening? And that's kind of the topic this week that we're studying in the theological foundations of ministry. Is how do you create an organization? Then you have the whole LGBTQ XYZ stuff. How do you integrate those people to make them feel comfortable going to the church or joining the church, becoming members of the church? What about the homeless, the orphans and widows? How do you integrate all of these people in? Tunnel vision says we do what we've always done, we just do it better. Non-tunnel vision, who outside our industry is doing something like this? Starbucks would be an example. Starbucks would be an example of that. They don't cater to a particular thing. It's just, can you afford it? But if you can afford it, all are welcome. And even if you can't afford it, you can walk in and say, can I have a glass of water, man? And they will give it to you. Love you too. Beep. Beep. So, how to create the next generation church. How to bring it back. Because as people are getting older, They're becoming a smaller part of the population. So it could be the case that the number of people who went to church is actually not declining. More people are coming into the country, not joining the churches, and the new generation is not going. So as the percentage, the Christianity is dropping like a rock as a percentage, but it's not really people who grew up going to church have stopped going to church. They're still going, they're just a smaller part of the population. Okay, so where we are, 15 minutes in, time to wrap it up. A lot of stuff today, breakfast meeting, going to Vegas, picking up another student, very busy, making things happen. Focus on the future. Okay, forward movement. With that, we're going to say adios, Maticus von Atticus. Keep going. Keep on moving.